11-2 is volumes of prisms and cylinders. So for prisms and cylinders, it basically has the same formula for volume. Volume equals capital BH. Capital B stands for area of the base. So for instance, if you find the area of, we'll call this the base, which is 10 by, that would be the same length right here, so that would be 10 by 8. And so that's the 80, not degrees, sorry, 80 centimeters squared, times, so area of the base times the height, 12. So 80 times 12, 960 centimeters cubed. Volume would be cubed. And it makes sense because we had 10 centimeters times 8 centimeters. Well, centimeters times centimeters is centimeters squared. And then we're going to multiply it by the height of 12 centimeters. And so we're multiplying centimeters times centimeters times centimeters, which is centimeters cubed. Just like if I said, what's another way to write x times x times x, you would say x cubed. So that's how we know the units on that. I also want you to notice that in the notes right here, this prism can also be tipped. This is called Cavaliere's principle, is that whether the prism is standing upright or it's tipped, you can still, the height would have to be perpendicular. Whatever that height is would have to be perpendicular to the ground, because we never stand sideways when we get measured at the doctor's for our height. We don't lean over, I mean, for that. So, but regardless, whether the figure is tipped or standing straight, it would be the same volume. So keep that in mind if you see an image like that where it's tipped, okay? And so they do have other formulas, like you might have heard for a rectangular prism that the volume equals length times width times height. That is true, but it's still like the area of the base. So if you look at this bottom piece, length times width, then times the height, area of the base times height, same formula. Same thing here for a cube. Area of the base would be s times s, which is s squared, times the height, another s, would be s cubed. So that's where these formulas are coming from. So every prism is going to be capital BH. V equals capital BH for the prisms. These formulas will be provided to you on the quizzes and tests. Here we have a pentagonal prism. The bases are pentagons. The parallel bases are pentagons. And so this is a prism. It's not coming to a point. It's not a pyramid. And we can find the area of that regular pentagon. So we'll use, let's see, if you draw out the right triangle for the pentagon, remember that area of a pentagon or a regular polygon equals 1/2 times the apothem times the perimeter. So 2.5 would be the base of the little right triangle, since the whole side is 5. We take half of that. They provided the central angle already. Half the central angle, I mean, would be 36 degrees. That's already done for us. And so we're looking for the apothem, so we can call this x. And so we can do tangent of the angle, 36 is equal to opposite, 2.5, over adjacent. And we can calculate this. Tangent of 36 is 0.73. So I'm going to cross multiply to solve for the apothem. Okay, so the apothem is 3.42, so I have area equals 1/2 of 3.42 times the perimeter. Well, one side of the pentagon is 5, and since there's 5 sides, the perimeter would be 5 times 5, which is 25. So then the final area equals 42.75 meters squared. So I found the area of my base. Now I have to multiply by the height, because remember, volume is the area of the base times the height. Well, the area of the base was that regular pentagon, which came out to 42.75 meters squared, multiplied by the height, which is 7 meters. Well, just looking at the units, meters squared times meters would be meters cubed. When we multiply, we add the exponents. So I know my units are meters cubed, plus it's volume, so it's going to be meters cubed. So now I'm just going to multiply 42.75 times 7. 299.25 meters cubed. So volume of a cylinder is the same as the prism is going to be V equals capital BH, area of the base times the height. Well, since the area of the base is pi r squared, because the base is a circle, we can also say that the volume of a cylinder is equal to pi r squared h. But I think it's easier to just keep the same formula for prisms and cylinders, capital BH, since I know the area of a circle is pi r squared anyway. So this cylinder's tipped, but it doesn't make a difference. We're going to find first the area of the base, so that I can multiply by the height. The area of the base would be pi times radius squared. Well, the radius is 8, and so 8 squared is 64. So that's 64 pi times the height. Well, the height has to be perpendicular, so that's 12. 64 times 12 is 768 pi centimeters cubed. So this was centimeters squared multiplied by centimeters. That's where the centimeters cubed came from. And I could also actually multiply that number by pi. So if I take 768 times 3.14, I end up with 2,411.52 centimeters squared. Cubed, I mean, sorry. But this answer with pi is completely okay.